back before Halloween was curated by an algorithm, it was curated by us. One Friday night, one video store rental card, and a wall of VHS clamshells. This is how one ritual that we all shared together helped make Halloween feel so big. I'm going to tell you the story of the last great video store Halloween. So pop that tape in. I got you. Let's go do this. Halloween used to be so big. The season, the excitement, everything we shared together, and video stores helped bring that to life. And for 2 great decades, going back to the 80s video boom, you rented movies, but it was more than that. It was something that we all did together, and it kind of helped launch the Halloween season. All those great horror tapes right there at your fingertips. Go up and down the aisles, looking at artwork, reading the backs, and getting excited about the horror marathon you were going to watch that weekend. But something happened. It fell apart. But there was one last great shining moment somewhere right there at the end of the 90s, right to about 2000, 2001, before DVD took over completely, before the rise of streaming and the algorithm dictating what you watched. The video rental store was the place to help make Halloween the best season of the year. I don't think it's a leap to say that VHS and the video rental stores helped make Halloween bigger. Not at all. Before home video, Halloween horror came in 2 places: your local theater and whatever happened to be shown on TV.
Tonight, 5 weird sci-fi movies on TNT's Monster Vision.
I did a whole video about those great TV specials that aired once a year on special nights, premieres. But you know, if you missed The Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown or Halloween on cable, you just kind of missed it. You were out of luck. But VHS started to flip that script a little bit. It was right there, the next thing. And suddenly you could build your own horror marathons any night of the week. Usually it was the weekends. But the local mom and pop stores lined their walls with like skulls, pumpkins, that forbidden box art that always drew you in, because they would have these cool painted, just went to so much effort for all this box art. It was just like an art gallery of Halloween. And you would have the Halloween movies, Friday the 13th, The Howling, Return of the Living Dead, Reanimator, all that stuff. It was right there at your fingertips. The rental card became your ticket to Halloween on demand for the first time. But here's what made it special. Renting tapes wasn't just a passive hunt. You judged the horror movie by its cover. You maybe had the one little blip on the back, a couple of sentences, the dripping fonts, the rubber monster on the cover, the sexy, lurid poses in some case for some of that sleazy horror. It was plastic that felt like a forbidden treasure. There were those videos that were whispered about in hushed tones that you couldn't get, all that kind of stuff. So every Friday in October, families, teens, even your teachers, you would see everybody out rushing to the video rental stores for not only the new releases, but those over in the middle aisles under that beautiful green horror section symbol, checking out movies. Everyone was on the same wavelength, quietly building their own October to go along with all those specials we were sharing on TV. The video store helped give Halloween this beating pulse that everybody shared, and it was beating through all your neighborhoods at once. You knew your friends were out there renting movies, and you were too. Who was going to put together the best lineup for the weekend? It was all there, and the video rental store and VHS made it possible. But I think what was different between then and now, with like streaming and all these things you can put together yourself, was the magic of the tapes at the video store kind of syncing up with TV and Halloween as a season. You'd watch like The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror when it aired, or you'd catch Roseanne, like I talked about before, or Buffy the Vampire Slayer's Halloween episode, or anything like that, or maybe a Joe Bob Briggs or Elvira showing a censored version of your favorite horror movie. And then everyone would go out and hit the video rental stores and grab those movies in their uncensored form with no commercials. That was a big deal, to not have to watch the commercials for the first time. So the TV would get you all jazzed up, and then you would go rent some movies and kind of do it on your own. So VHS kind of became like an after party for the TV specials and the appointment horror that we watched on TV. So if you missed the broadcast, renting was a way you could catch up and still be a part of it all, and maybe kind of check it out in its uncensored, uncut formats. So if television was sort of the spark for the Halloween season, VHS kind of carried the torch and put it all together. And it was something that you had to leave your house and go out and do together. So it was still very different than what you get nowadays when you're talking about streaming online in your home alone, scrolling, doom scrolling your phone, all that kind of stuff. This was still a communal experience, and that made it very, very different, and that gave it a lasting nostalgia that we still have today. Now, while this was big in the 80s, because 80s VHS boom was just huge. You couldn't keep up with the demand. This kind of hit its peak by the late 90s. Blockbuster started dominating, and horror came back to the mainstream in a big way in the 80s and 90s. These were the years where Halloween, maybe the last years, where Halloween still felt like a big mass event. You had the shelves still at that time filled with fresh icons of horror. You had Scream and the slasher genre being reborn with It and I Know What You Did Last Summer in 1997. You had Halloween H2O in 1998. So you had Michael Myers coming for a whole new generation of stars with LL Cool J and Josh Hartnett and all of those people. The Faculty was in full swing. The Blair Witch Project, Final Destination, Jeepers Creepers. We had a lot of lasting horror, maybe for the last time, right there in the late 90s. And the stores went all in with it, with they would do the big cutouts, the decorations, they would do horror trivia nights at some stores. You would have your candy up there that you could get. Sometimes the people who worked there would even dress up. I remember that at the Hollywood Video over here. It was very cool, and it was still something that you did together. So in that way, it kind of felt like those late 90s Halloweens, that was kind of like the last Octobers where Halloween, it felt like it was curated by human hands and not algorithms. To me, I kind of look back at that time as the last great Halloweens and the last great video store Halloweens. And that kind of gives it this special place. The problem is you never know what's the end when you're in it. So you don't take advantage of it and enjoy it as much as you should until it's gone. And now we're just looking for a way to bring a little bit of that back. Part of the reason that time was so special and that window was so special was the timing. We had just enough technology then to curate our own nights, but not so much technology that it stole our attention. There were no smartphones buzzing. You weren't doom scrolling like I was saying. The movie played. You had the dim lights. You had the VHS hiss. You had full immersion. You were very present in the moment to enjoy it. Be where your feet are. And that's probably the last time that happened. The more technology we got, the more distractions, the more options, the less connected we became. But at that point in time, there was like this perfect balance of technology without distraction. And that was a hard needle to thread and part of what made that time so special. But then, unfortunately, it kind of all unraveled. DVD mail services crept in first. And that was Netflix. You could order it and have it shipped to your house. You didn't have to go anywhere anymore. Then internet sped up. We left dial up behind and we got broadband, and things got faster and faster. And then Netflix launched streaming in 2007. Blockbuster had collapsed by 2010. We got convenience, but we lost the hunt. We lost the experience. And there was no more wandering the aisles, looking around at that cool art, all that kind of stuff. No overhearing what your buddy had rented told you to rent at school, and now you were looking for it over in the next row of films. That whole communal experience was gone. Halloween stopped being sort of a shared curation and became a solo scroll. And it's so hard to look back at it now and realize the point where that happened, and we're trying to go back and bring some of that forward with videos like this and talking about it. And there's always hope, but nothing kind of lives up to that moment in time where it was at its height right before it ended. And that's why it mattered. Things are special because they're fleeting a lot of times, and we're trying to get them back. The video store made Halloween bigger than any one movie. It made it ours. It made it something you could experience with other people and then have for yourself. The smell of the clamshell plastic when you open them, the scratchy cardboard displays in the stores, the thrill of picking your own horror lineup for the weekend to go around those specials that you had lined up on TV, and knowing that everyone was doing the same thing at the same time in their own way. We didn't just rent movies. We rented an atmosphere, a feeling, an experience. But now, unfortunately, those stores are long gone. But the spirit does not have to be. You can build your own Halloween weekends. I say this all the time. Stack physical media. All this stuff behind me. I capture that feeling every single day. Host your own horror marathons with friends. Go to local archives. Buy from boutiques. Check it all out. Go into Halloween stores. Because what made it magical was never necessarily the format. It was the ritual of choosing it together. The experience of doing things together and enjoying them together that made the memories and nostalgia that we look back on so fondly today. So I would say that 1997 to that 2001 window was probably the years of the last great video store Halloweens, the final golden autumns before everything went digital. One Friday night, one rental card, a wall of glowing clamshells. That's all it took to make Halloween feel special, to make it feel like a big event, to make it make so many memories, and to make it ours. All of the things that we love about Halloween and horror movies and the nostalgia that we all are looking for, it's all still right there if you reach out, grab it, bring it back to life, and share it together. I hope you have enjoyed this little stroll down the VHS aisles of history, the video stores of our memories. It is all there. Enjoy it. Reach out, grab it, share it, love it. Turn on the porch light and step back out into the dark and enjoy Halloween. And if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. And until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye. I know.